And we're back with another participant. We are here with Misha Gibson. Misha, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Misha is working on the mission adaptation to climate change. So, Misha, if you wouldn't mind maybe introducing yourself.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for invitation. My name is Misha. I'm from Israel. I'm doing PhD in Ariel University. My focus is behavioral political economy, and I'm trying to look to the political roles of entrepreneurship in theoretical way and empirical. But I came to this field from practice because I had my own companies. I had many projects. I did events.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the EU Talenton. I hope you're all well rested and ready for another day of hard work. And of course, we are back with some more interviews. We're going to try to get through everybody today. So I'll be running around trying to grab people, so make sure you're ready for to be asked some questions. They're very easy, I promise. So we're going to start off today with Ilse. Hi, Ilse.
Hi, nice to meet you.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, doing well. So Ilse is working on the mission of cancer.
Yeah, that's right.
And so first of all, if you wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm currently a PhD student at the University of Helsinki, working in a hematological genetics group. So we study genetics of blood cancers, mostly leukemias.
Okay, so this area of cancer you know very well then.
Yeah, at least somewhat well.
Somewhat well, yes. And I want to focus more on maybe your thoughts on the kind of format of the EU Talenton, because you've done one day of it now. So how did you feel the kind of format of bringing lots of people together is working out and the sharing of ideas?
So far, it has been really great, and we've learned a lot as a team.
Yeah.
And I think the structure has been actually kind of nice. Like in the beginning, it felt like we're not quite sure what we're getting into, but like once we move forward, like it's becoming clearer and clearer, which is really nice.
Great, great. And any challenges starting off with the group? Was it hard to maybe settle in, or did it all just work out straight away?
I think we maybe in the beginning had a little bit different ideas of what we wanted to work on. But once we settled on the idea, like we were all like super in. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah, that's really great, really great. And I was wondering then if you also could give me maybe a highlight of yesterday. Is there any point of the day that you think, wow, that was really awesome?
Yeah, I think like choosing the idea because we were brainstorming about what we would like to do, and then we kind of had this mini lecture, and then after that we kind of dove into what we would like to do and looked into 2 different options.
Yes.
And then once we were like, okay, we're gonna go with this, and started the proper brainstorming, then like the ideas just kind of started coming in, and that felt like really good. We're like, okay, we can do this.
We have something to work on. Because sometimes I feel that if you've nothing, if you're still looking, it can be hard to actually then focus and be excited. But now you can start moving forward. And are you excited for the pitch evening tonight with the pitch in public?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what we can come up with by then.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, that's all my questions for you. Thank you so much for having a small chat with me.
Thank you.
I wish you the best for the rest of the day. Good luck to your team.
Thanks.
And we'll move on to our next guest, which is Celine.
Hi there.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So you are also on the Mission Cancer.
Yeah, indeed.
And could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a assistant professor and postdoc at Ghent University.
Okay.
And I'm working on liquid biopsies and immunotherapy.
Wow.
So,
yeah. So you also know the area a little bit more of the sciencey side of it. And can I ask you why you decided to actually do the EU Talenton in the first place?
It looked like a nice idea to like think out of the box.
Yeah.
Because I think here you are forced to think as not really an academic, but like really force yourself to think different.
Yeah.
And also because you just meet like people from the whole of Europe.
Yes.
Which is also super nice. So I hope that will be like long-lasting connections as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about making that network, isn't it?
Yeah,
especially
indeed.
both in science, but also outside of science as well.
Yeah.
So, and so of course you've done one day now. So what is your team's plan for today?
I think we have like a rough ID.
Great.
So this morning we will go on the street and do some interviews with people.
Oh wow! Okay.
To see whether the ID is a good ID.
Yeah.
And then afterwards we will shape it a bit more, our ID that we have, and maybe develop a prototype. So we are going also to the 3D printing lab downstairs. So
oh wow, you're really that's so exciting. And so you were talking about then going and talking to the public. What do you think is the importance of going and talking to the public and talking to people about these products or solutions that we're trying to make?
Yeah, I think it's stupid to not develop something which is useful for the public.
Yeah.
So it's better to test it before you develop. So I think that's what we want to do. So we want to like have an idea whether they like it or not.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's really, really great. And one more question for you. So from your own background, you've got a lot of knowledge in science. So what's kind of one skill that you really are trying to bring to or one outlook that you're really trying to bring to your team?
I think just the collaborative and open mindset.
Yes, yeah.
Because I think you might come here with an idea already in your mind.
Yeah.
But it's even nicer, I think, if you change the whole plan afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Have something better that is made together.
Yeah, more collaborative, exactly. Great. Well, that's all my questions for you. Thank you so much for talking with me as well. Good. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.
Yeah, we'll definitely do.
Great. So we'll be back in a few moments with a few more interviews, so stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. I'm back again with 3 more interviewees, so we'll just jump right in. First, I have Natalia. Hello, Natalia.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me today in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
So you are working also on the Mission Cancer?
Yeah, exactly.
And can you give us maybe a little bit more background of who you are and what you do?
Cool. Yeah, my name is Natalia. I am originally from Argentina. I have recently moved to Ireland to work in Cork at APC Microbiome. Okay. I work studying the microbiome, which is basically the set of all the microbes that live in our body. And I'm studying how can we actually use bacteria and substances to shape the microbiome, because it has been proven that it is highly related with a lot of diseases, including cancer. Okay. So that kind of a background is what brought me here.
Yeah. So really looking at as you really do have then a knowledge of this kind of area, but maybe from a different standpoint.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome, brilliant. And so was that the main reason why you decided to take part, or was there other reasons as well?
Well, I think it's actually a really interesting event because it's so interdisciplinary. Like, all of us, we're mostly scientists. We mostly have a scientific background, but so different. Yeah. So I think that can be so constructive because we can actually join different ideas. And I also liked the fact that it's so international. So it's really enriching. Like, you can learn a lot from it. So.
Yeah, really. It's important it's great to have so many kind of viewpoints, I suppose, when you're looking at trying to solve a problem. It's great to have many different perspectives.
Yes, definitely.
And focusing back on maybe the mission area of cancer, is there, through your own work and just in your own opinion, is there one kind of, I suppose, field that you feel is really up and coming in the fight against cancer?
That's a really tricky question.
Yeah.
I think the trickiest part maybe is actually to match all the already existing knowledge to come up with an original and feasible solution.
Yes.
That's what we're trying to work out.
Of course.
It's not been easy, I must admit, but we're getting there. I think, you mean like here in the event, or
just in general,
like the humanity in general?
Yeah, if there's anything that you think, wow, that's a really interesting area of research.
I cannot really think, like, the field is so wide.
Of course,
and the possibilities are so many.
Yeah.
But I'm quite hopeful. I think we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
And maybe something out of this weekend, these last 3 days, you'll be
Hopefully.
like, this is pretty cool. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, great. That's all of my questions for you.
Cool. Thank you so
nice
much.
and quick, but thank you so much for having a chat. I hope you enjoy the rest of the next 2 days.
I will, for sure.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. And we'll invite our next guest, Alex. Welcome, Alex.
Hello, hello, hello.
Thank you for joining me up here.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So you're also on the Mission Cancer.
Yes, I am.
Can you please tell me a bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Alexander. I come from Serbia. I'm a teaching assistant at the Institute of Social Medicine. That's our faculty of medicine in Belgrade. So, yeah, mostly I teach with students and I do research. Of course, I'm doing my PhD right now in public health.
Okay.
Area burden of disease. So I'm all about preventive medicine, public health, and such things.
Brilliant. And how do you find working with students?
Oh, it's different than working with patients.
Yeah.
You know, they're young, they're curious, they want to know everything, and they do not spare you, but you have to be prepared. Your mind has to be fresh, and that is something that I like discussion every day.
Yeah, of course.
And so on and so on.
Yeah, and do you think then that helps then with the crossover to talk to patients?
I think it does, actually. Having basic knowledge about public health, about the organization of the healthcare system and everything, that really helps the doctors, to locate themselves in the community.
Yes.
To be that change that needs to get there as soon as possible, we're doing.
Of course, the patients are the people mainly that we're working for.
Yeah,
to try and do this innovation to help them. So it's important that we talk to them and find out what they want and what they need, and also make sure that they understand.
Yeah, I totally agree. Sometimes we just suppose what do patients need.
Yes.
In terms of their health literacy or their actual clinical needs, but it's very important not to assume, but to really get into community, to do that community engagement, and to see what are really the concerns and needs.
Yeah.
And that sometimes it's just overlooked.
Yeah. And I also have a small, I have a bit of your bio here.
Okay.
And I know that you mentioned that you think that every big problem in society should be analysed through the lens of public health.
Oh,
could you explain that a little bit more? Or?
I'm kind of biased in such a way.
Of course, but it's
I can quote a great mind, Rudolf Virchow.
Okay.
And he's like a father of our discipline, social medicine, and he said that politics is nothing else but medicine on a greater scale.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. Like all the new problems we try to tackle, climate change, sustainability, economy, circular economy, all can be looked through the eyes of populational health and public health.
Yes, yeah.
And this is what we're trying to do. This is what the WHO, World Health Organization, recommends, that we include health in all policies.
Yes.
Like whatever we do, we see how that influences our health and the health of the society, the well-being of the society.
Yeah.
That's all.
Great, thank you for explaining.
Yeah,
great.
thank you.
And finally, are you excited for the rest of the day?
I'm so excited. I'm kind of sleepy already, I have to say, but I'm trying to stay fresh.
Exactly.
My teammates are awesome.
Oh,
we
brilliant.
have so many great ideas, so, I should be back to work
great.
for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you so much for chatting to me, and
Thank you.
good luck with today.
Thanks.
Great, and we'll invite our last guest then, Avijit. Welcome.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
Very nice to be here.
Yeah, really happy. And how are you enjoying the last day?
It has been fantastic. It has definitely been challenging, but I think that's what we're all here for. Like, we all like a challenge. We're all scientists. This is what we do. This is what gives us the adrenaline. So it's fantastic to be here and learn from so many inspiring people, a lot of interesting peers, fantastic teammates, and a lot of people from other areas that, we can develop synergies with. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, really. And can you tell me a little bit about yourself as well? Introduce yourself for everybody.
All right. So my name is Abhijit, like you said it. I'm currently a second-year master's student in a kind of complicated program. So it's an Erasmus Mundus joint master's degree program.
Okay.
So the first year of my master's was in Germany, where I was until last month. And I actually just moved to the Netherlands for my second year at the University of Groningen. And I'm studying innovative medicine, and it's a very exciting and upcoming field. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, innovative medicine. It sounds innovative.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
And I think it's the need of the hour. If anything, the last 3 years have kind of shown us the role that kind of medicine and science has in shaping society and how society can shape it back. And I think it's very relevant in the current context of things.
Definitely. And so you mentioned then that you did 1 year in Germany. You've now come to the Netherlands. How do you find this moving to different countries and working with different people from different countries? Is that something that you think helps your professional career as well?
Definitely. It's one of the reasons I applied to this program, because I thought it would be interesting to learn about the cultural context of things, because I believe that science doesn't exist in a vacuum, especially medicine, because we're kind of in the end of the day working for the people, kind of trying to come up with things that help the people. And if you're not like talking to different people, interacting with different cultures, then I don't think you can actually come up with something that works. And for me, it's been very interesting. Obviously, the move in itself is very stressful, but I really liked experiencing the two different cultures in Europe, because I'm not originally from Europe. So it's very interesting to see different cultures in Europe and how different people tackle different things. And I really like Germany. I love Germany. I actually learned a bit of German.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yes, I can speak some German. But I also love the Netherlands. It is very different, but fantastic. And I think I took to it quite easily. And I love biking. So I think that makes life so much easier for me here.
It is.
Yeah.
And how do you find Leiden specifically? You've been here now for a day or two.
2 days. I really like it. I think as someone who's young, someone who's still a student, it's a fantastic place to be in because there are so many people my age. There are so many exciting things happening. Just going around the town last night, going on my bike, there was so many students, so much history here, and it is a very beautiful city. And I think it's located at the intersection of the different parts of Netherlands. I might be wrong. Don't hold me to this. But I find it very exciting to be here because I do think that someone mentioned that especially for medicine and the life sciences, it's kind of the upcoming Boston in the US. Boston is one of the hubs. So it's very interesting to see that develop in Europe. And I have a lot of high hopes. Maybe I'll come back here for a PhD.
Yeah, exactly, definitely.
I really like the place, so I might be back, who knows.
Well, we would love to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's great to hear that you liked it.
Yes.
Well, that's all my questions.
Thank you so much. It was very nice to chat with you.
Oh, you too, you too. And again, have a great day.
Thank you.
Good luck with your pitches this evening as well. And that's to all of you. So we're going to have a quick break before some more interviews now. So make sure you stay tuned. And we're back with another interviewee. I have Hannah with me. Hannah, hi. Hi. Thank you for joining today.
Yeah, thank you.
So if you wouldn't mind maybe introducing yourself for everybody.
Yeah, so my name's Hannah, and I'm still finishing up my master's in biomedical engineering in Mannheim, mainly focusing like on data processing and imaging.
Great. And so you're almost finished. Do you know what you'd like to move on to next?
I'm not sure yet. Maybe like to a PhD, but also like in the industry, there's some like interesting stuff to do, like some training groups in the companies.
Yeah, definitely. And you're working in the cancer mission, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I know that you have an interest in kind of using data visualization to better explain cancer to maybe patients or the public. Could you explain a little bit more about this interest?
Yeah, so basically the main problem is when we have like image data from cancer, it's mostly like 2D.
Okay.
And like the interesting part is to do like the MRI scans to render like 3D parts to better visualize it. Also using like virtual reality, so you actually can like experience and like and it makes it also easier for like operations to have like a better understanding where the tumor is sitting in like a 3D picture, how it will be in real life.
Yeah, so the VR, this, I think it's really interesting, this virtual reality. So would that be for doctors or for patients or?
Yeah, it could be used either way, like for doctors and also for like patients to better visualize it, or like for the common public to spark interest in it, because like the VR thing, it's like, it's not like new, but still something not a lot of people have tried. So you can be like, oh, do you want to see like what cancer looks like? Here you have a VR. And that's something to spark interest.
Yeah, brilliant. Definitely a new way of sharing the knowledge with other people as well. And lastly, I'd like to actually just ask you about your day yesterday. You had your first full day at the Talenton. How did it go?
I think it was like a roller coaster of emotions. You have like the start was really great, then you generate some ideas, they fail, they're already existing, and then it was like a very draining phase. But I think in the end we came up with an idea we're all happy with, and like a great start for today to like further work on it.
Yeah, you're rested, you're ready to go.
Yes.
For the rest of the day. Great, good to hear. Well, good luck with it. That's all the questions I have for you. So thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll invite my next guest, which is Lewis. Lewis?
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for joining me as well.
Thank you for having me.
So you're also working on the Mission Cancer.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, you're on adaptation to climate change. Sorry, I've had, I think, 5 different cancers, so now I'm on a new one. Great to have you. Can you introduce yourself for me a little bit?
Yeah, of course. My name is Luis. I'm a PhD student from the University of Girona in Spain. And my PhD basically is about a plant pathogen, which is called Shigella fastidiosa. It's a quarantine pathogen. It was not found in the EU. It was introduced from America, and it has a lot of problems in Italy and in Spain because it's destructing a lot of the economical farmer kind of economy. For example, in Italy, it destroyed the olive production in a region which is Apulia. So now we have a lot of work like to try to fight it back. And so my PhD is focused on natural-based solutions. Specifically peptides. So it's more or less like try to see if we can cure the plants that have the disease or prevent the infection.
Yeah, and then you mentioned also then that there's an economic aspect to this. So I suppose your PhD also has a couple of different disciplines maybe mixed into it.
Yeah, a little bit, even though I'm more biased to the science due to my background. But
of course, yeah. And moving on from that then, why do you think that multidisciplinary is important?
Yeah, I think it's really important because, for example, me as a scientist, I know that sometimes you're a little bit you're connected to the world, but at the same time you are disconnected because you have maybe focused on a really specific topic. So, for example, in this kind of event that we had like, in my team, we have several people from different areas. Yeah. So, for example, I lack an entrepreneurship kind of point of view, and we have someone that has experience with that. So it's like really good, like to have that feedback, like okay, this product could work, could not work, would be feasible, would be economically profitable, maybe.
Yeah.
So it's kind of good. And also we have, for example, people that work with close with farmers, or someone that is more linguistics and social aspects. So I think that the integration of all these areas is really profitable as personal growth.
Yeah.
You know, to have a broader point of view. So I think that's really valuable.
And then working with that as well, there's lots of different backgrounds and perspectives coming in. How are you finding with your group now with the dynamics? How are you balancing roles? Is it everybody does the same thing, or have you split it up slightly?
So at the beginning, we were crashed a little bit, but we find a common ground. Yep. So then we just kind of work towards that goal. And now we are kind of splitting a little bit. For example, if someone is more expertise with how to plan a startup, so maybe he's doing a little bit more on that side, and he's explaining to us how he would do it, and then we just put our feedback. Okay, we agree with this, or we don't agree with that. So we kind of do it like that.
Yeah, great. But it's still all very collaborative.
Yes, exactly.
Nice.
We just kind of share the ideas and try to find something that we both, we all agree on, and just move on with like a common goal.
Yes. And finally, my last question. Do you have a highlight of yesterday? Was there a point that you're like, woohoo?
I mean, everything was really interesting. Yeah. I enjoyed the day, and also being able to also talk to many people from other areas. For example, when we had the breaks, it was really inspiring for me. So I like that.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And again, I wish you the very best. Good luck with the pitch as well this evening.
Thank you.
And yeah, have a great time.
Thanks.
And that will be us for now. We'll be back with some more interviews very soon. Hi everybody and welcome back. I've got 3 more interviews waiting for here, so we'll get started. First I have Sue. Sue, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me. So you are working on the mission Restore Our Oceans and Waters.
Yes.
Yes, so before we get into that, could you please introduce yourself a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Sue. I am a software developer from Canada living in Leiden. I work at the Naturalis Biodiversity Center. So what's a software developer doing out there? I'm working on projects that really get to help biodiversity researchers link their data and do the research that they need to do to monitor biodiversity across Europe.
Great. And so you're living in Leiden?
I am, yes.
Oh, great. How do you enjoy living here?
Oh, it's really nice. The bicycle infrastructure is fantastic. I love not getting hit by cars.
Yeah. And focusing on your mission area, could you explain why you chose this area?
Well, Restore Our Oceans and Waters. The oceans are obviously home to some of the highest concentrations of biodiversity in the world, and we don't know a lot about them. And I think that it's really important, one, that we get the full picture of what's going on down there, and so we understand how we can protect the biodiversity, these like immense treasures of our planet.
Yeah. And with your, you mentioned you're a software developer.
Yes.
So how are you bringing your skills as a software developer to your group to work together on your solution?
You know, I don't think it's necessarily, we're not going for a very software or data-based approach for our solution. What I'm more doing, I'm bringing like my analytical and like logistic skills that I sort of developed, that like kind of logical part of the brain.
Yes.
But less so software.
Yeah, great. That's also, it's exploring our own skills as well, not only what we do professionally, but just our own skills and our own perspectives. So
yeah, I would say it's definitely a growing experience, definitely learning a lot from my other teammates as well.
Great, great. And are you looking forward to today?
I am, yes. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the other mission arenas are doing.
Yeah.
We're, you know, kind of sequestered in our own rooms, so I don't really know what cities or soils are doing, and I think it's going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much. That's all the questions I have for you. So have a great day, enjoy the rest, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Great, and we'll move on to my next interviewee, who is Kato.
Thank you, hi.
Hi, Kato, welcome. So you're working on the adaptation to climate change.
Yes.
Yes. So before we go into it a little bit, could you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so my name is Kato. I live in Amsterdam. I'm associated with the VU University, and my research there is focused on the resilience of adolescents in times of crises. So very much related to what I'm doing here as well with the climate crisis.
Yes, definitely. And so you said that you're working with youth. Why did you decide to focus on youth for climate change?
Well, I think on the one hand, it's a very personal choice to want to work with the leaders of tomorrow, and I'm very inspired by how the minds of young people can come up with things that we can't. And it's a great group to work with in general. And I think when it comes to climate, they're really with crises in general, they're so associated with them. Like from such a young age, they're confronted with these global massive crises. I mean, we just had a pandemic. We don't even know whether we're still in a pandemic, and they're like 12 and having to deal with this. So I'm really inspired by how they show resilience and how they adapt to the world that they didn't cause, but they have to live in for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, of course. That's really, really nicely put, and definitely inspires me to want to work with youth more as well. And finally then, just I know that you're interested in visual and arts-based ethnography. Could you maybe explain a little bit about that and your work with it?
Yeah, of course. It's a method that I'm very engaged with, and I think it's something that really helps in building a gap between research and society as well. So what we do with art-based ethnography is we give people creative tools to tell them our stories. So for example, with our COVID-19 research, we asked adolescents to make artworks of their experiences in the pandemic. So we ended up with 20 beautiful artworks, which I would not have been able to make myself. And then the visual part is that we film our ethnographic fieldwork, and we film our interviews as well, and we make documentaries out of it.
Brilliant. And will you show the documentaries? Are they being shown anywhere? Or?
They're still in development.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, they'll be posted online, and you'll be able to get a look into the worlds of the adolescents that we interviewed.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'd definitely be interested to have a look. So thank you so much for chatting to me and explaining a little bit about what you do. And good luck with the rest of the day and also tomorrow.
Yes, thank you.
Great, thank you. And we'll move on to my last interviewee, which is Roberta. Hello, Roberta.
Hi. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, well, thank you for joining me. So you are then working on the soil deal for Europe.
Yeah.
Yes. How's it going?
Everything is going great. My team is very good, and I'm so happy to having them as teammates.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So I'm PhD student, and I work at the University of Gdansk, but I'm from Italy. Okay. I moved to Poland like 5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, for the Erasmus program, and then I decided to stay. I just love the city and enjoyed the life in Poland. And I work with plant pathogen and microbiologists. And, you know, we are trying to come out with innovative solution and alternatives to the use of pesticide in agriculture.
Okay, great.
Which is actually a really hot deal now. And that's why I chose the soil mission.
Yes,
because I'm like really microbiologist of soil.
Yes, yeah. And focusing then more on the mission and having researchers and scientists and people from other fields, of course, coming together. What do you think the importance is for researchers to focus on trying to solve real life issues?
Yeah, I must say that this is my first experience in a really interdisciplinary team.
Yeah.
Because usually in research you are focused on a very narrow field.
Yes.
And everyone is working on the same. So we are very expert, but in our field. And what we are trying to do here is to go out from our comfort zone and try to come out with something totally different.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm really enjoying the business mindset that we are developing here.
Great.
And it was like my first experience, and I'm really enjoying it.
Great. So you think maybe this would be something you'd like to do in the future?
Yeah, definitely. We were like talking about it, and we are mostly all PhD or postdoc. There is only one guy that is more into finance, but we are all saying the same, that we want to go beyond research and try to do more and go through this gap between academia and industry and start working, like pushing our research into real life.
That's great to hear. Really, really awesome. And finally, before I let you go, are you enjoying your time in Leiden?
Yeah, I love Leiden and I love Netherlands. I've been here several times.
Okay.
And, you know, it really reminds me of Poland.
Yeah.
And I like that you have so much green areas and everything looks bright.
Oh, great.
Even if it's cloudy and raining today.
Yeah, today the weather's not great, but...
But I really like it.
Oh, great to hear. Well, we're very happy to have you here. And
thank you.
Thank you so much for chatting with me for a little bit. And good luck with the rest of the day. And I'll be back soon with some more interviews, so stay tuned.
guess you're wondering what happened to the results of the competition on the first evening. We've been getting some questions about that. And we did the calculations. I have to say, lots of teams were really close, in the range of 9 to 13 points. But there were 3 teams that really stuck out. And I'll start with the team on place number 3. That is Team AE. Stand up. That's 16 points, so well done. Second place is Team DA. 70 points. Well done, well done. And then there was one team that had 20 points. I was really impressed. It's Team BA. Well done. And as for the last question on the quiz, almost no one got it right, but it was Herman de Boel. And I think most of you could have just seen him at Naturalis. So I hope you did. All of you did really well in the competition, and congrats to the winners. I have another announcement to make, and that's that the interviews will be running all day long today. So if you haven't been interviewed yet, expect that to be coming. We really like all of the interviews on Talenton.tv.
And we're back, everybody, with some more interviews, and we'll get started with Amaya. Hi, Amaya.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine, yes. A bit tired, but fine.
Yes, I think everybody's a little bit tired. I think there was a long day yesterday.
Yes.
But feeling ready for today?
Yes.
Great, great. Can you introduce yourself for us a bit?
Yes, well, I'm from Spain. I am a chemical engineer. Okay. Yes, and right now I am doing a PhD in material science.
Hey, and how is the PhD going?
Well,
is that a
better than the project.
Better than the project.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Well, this is actually what I'm going to ask. How did your first day go yesterday? You did the first day of the Talenton, and how's it going?
Well, it could go better, but well, we're trying to find some ideas.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And how is it with your group? How are you working together? How are the synergies?
That they're good. Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
And how are you bringing your knowledge then in your own research into the group?
Well, I am in the oceans and more storage.
Yes.
So as I work in water treatment, so like we are talking about pollution. So like my knowledge is like water treatment. So
yes,
yeah.
you could bring a lot there.
Yes.
You could bring that area of knowledge of water to your team. And is everybody else in your team involved with water as well, or are they all from different backgrounds?
Yes, we're all about water. Yes, the 2 of them are also a PhD students.
Okay.
Yes, about water remediation.
Ah,
yes.
okay.
And the third one, she's also she's working in industry, but she's also about working in pollution.
Okay,
yes,
so
water
you're
pollution.
all a lot of pollution, a lot of water. And can you just a bit more about yourself? Do you have any hobbies that you like to do?
Yeah. Well, I do ballet.
Amazing.
Yes, I started with 20 years, so.
Wow.
Yes, I started like late, more or less.
Yeah, and how
Yes.
do you? And so, do you train a lot? Do you go a lot?
I go twice a week.
Okay,
Yeah.
very nice, very nice.
Yes.
And do you find that it helps with the stress of
Yes,
the PhD?
a lot. Yes,
Yeah.
because I forget about everything, and I just don't.
Great. Well, that's all my questions for you. Thank you so much for talking
Thank
with
you.
me. And best of luck with today.
Thank you.
Great. And we'll move on then to my next interviewee, Inigo.
Hello, Aoife. Nice to meet you.
Hello. Nice to meet you as well. How's it going?
It's going great. It's going great. A little bit tired, but it's going great.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Well, thank you for taking a bit of time to talk to me. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, telling us a little bit more about you.
Okay, perfect. Yes, my name is Íñigo Martín. I'm from Alicante, Spain. I'm a mechanical engineer, finishing a master's in industrial engineering, and I'm part of Talenton in the climate neutral and smart cities.
Great. And you work for CERN at the moment?
Yeah, at the moment I'm working for CERN.
Great.
It's a great place. It's a really curious environment full of multidisciplinarity and also people all around the world. So it's a very special place.
Yeah, and a lot of research, a lot of innovation going on.
A lot of innovation. Not many people know that at CERN the World Wide Web was invented and things like that. So
okay, well, yeah, I didn't know either. So there, you've taught me something new. And focusing then more on climate neutral and smart cities, why did you choose this area to go into?
In my case, I chose this area because I've got a little bit of background in data science, in that part of sensors, and also in more environmentally friendly technologies. In my case, my main focus is on cooling technologies. So a little bit the mix between these two things, in my opinion, will be a really important field in the future in order to improve cities and to build resilient communities.
Yeah, and following from that, what do you think is the importance of actually creating smart and climate neutral cities?
In this case, I would say that the most value and the most important things will be given more to the citizens, because we're going to create them like a better environment. And also a more valuable environment, and also all the aspect of the data that we can collect in order to make much more informed decisions of street planning, of policy planning regarding to transportation, regarding to emissions, regarding just to installations in buildings and things like that. So in my opinion, that's really, really relevant.
Really, really relevant, yeah. And you said then talking to the public, doing it for the public. So what do you think the importance is of involving them?
In this case, if we really want to collect lots of data, and also if we really want to know our customer, or at least the public, and how we can better know them and how we can better adapt to them, we really, really need to know those niches, or we really need to know that customer, involving them not only in the collection of data and everything, but also in the decisions regarding what to do with that data, and also how our citizens want their city to be. Like, they have to play a very important role.
Of course, yeah, definitely. I agree 100%. Well, that's all my questions for you. Thank you for sharing with us your thoughts.
Thank you very much.
And good luck with the rest of the day and with the pitch this evening.
Thank you.
Great. And that's all for now. We'll be back with a few more interviews very soon.
I think some of the tracks, some of the mission arenas have site visits as well today. There is an optional workshop on fundraising, so for those of you who are interested in learning how to get money from investors, we'll talk about how investors think. So both cover the venture capital world, angel investors and VC funds, and how to tap into that, and how to structure a fundraising pitch. But also we have Slaven and his colleague from the EU Commission that will show you how to get access to some of these funds from the EU. And they're great because they're oftentimes in the form of a grant, so you don't have to give up equity in exchange for that capital. And there's a bunch of other great resources that they have available. There is definitely also the option of going to the makerspace, and we have some folks ready to help you with who's working on 3D models? A few teams? Awesome. Great. So we'll get that going, so we make sure that your prototypes are actually ready for the pitching tomorrow. So tonight at midnight, your team pages are due, and you can submit those to info@talenton.eu. Plus maybe also just copy your mission arena manager, so we make sure to track that everyone has submitted their team pages, this idea summary. And I believe Vivian just sent out an email about the 1-minute pitches. And did we also, do you have all the information needed for the team pages? Okay, it's on its way. So you'll get exact structure, like what are you to cover in this summary. And again, the team pages that you're submitting tonight is version 1, but it will be shared with the jury members. Tomorrow you will submit a final version if you have any updates on it. 1 to 3 pages. Finally, we have dinner at, I believe, 6 o'clock over at Pestrus again, and then we have the public pitches starting at 8 o'clock. And what that looks like is, great, so we have dinner at 6, and then drinks from 7 to 8. And then at 8 o'clock we start with Mission Arena 1, 2, and 5. Then there's a break, and then Mission Arena 3 and 4. And Vivian just sent out an email on how that works. You have exactly 1 minute to pitch, there's no slides, you're up on stage, there's a countdown timer, and I'll also help you prepare you for that at the 2 o'clock auto pitching workshop. Yeah? At the pest house. I think out in the courtyard if weather permits. Maybe. Okay, good. Here's the jury panel for tomorrow. You know, some of you were like, how can we research our jury members so we know what is their background so we can be strategic in terms of how we position this? Just taking pictures. Right, so here you can do your background research on that. And that's also what every good entrepreneur and researcher would do, right? You need to know your audience, right? If you're talking to a technical, tech-savvy audience, it might be stuff you can skip past faster. Or a very common mistake that entrepreneurs and researchers and academics and innovators make is that you get into this world of your own project and then you assume that everyone else is on the same page and they understand your world. And that's very dangerous because then you skip past stuff very quickly, and if you skip past stuff and if the audience starts feeling stupid, you lose them. Right? So it's better to start out too simple and make sure you explain all the basics. And the same with the public pitches tonight. Like, don't be too academic too fast because you will lose a lot of people. Better to pitch to your grandma is a great sort of technique. Or always the pitch to the rubber ducky technique. Okay. So some of you have talked a little bit about, hey, why does it have to be so startup-y? And why do we have to talk about money all the time? Well, it turns out, if you want to have great impact, you sort of need to have some funds behind you. Right? And I want to tell you a little about a short story about this guy. Do you know who this is? His name is Blake Mycoskie. And Blake was traveling around Argentina as a backpacker about 12 years ago or so. And he noticed that in many of these like small rural villages, the kids didn't have shoes. And they had to walk like 3-4 miles to school each way. And they had blisters and like bloody feet from like walking on this rough ground. So he was like, these kids need shoes. So when he came back from this backpacking trip, he asked his friends to pitch in so he could buy some shoes and send it to some of these villages. And he had found like a partner in one of these villages who would help distribute the shoes if he sent them down there. So he did that, and he helped like 100 kids with his own funds and funds from family and friends, and felt good about that. But then he went back to Argentina and he saw that there was another 1,000 kids without shoes on their feet. And that made him ponder, like, well, I can't fund this myself. Like, me and my friends and the people I know, there's no way we can provide shoes for all these kids. So he founded a company called Tom's Shoes, and he essentially invented this business model called buy one, give one. Have you heard of Tom's Shoes? A few people? Right, so Tom's Shoes, every time you buy a pair of Tom's Shoes, you are also funding a free pair of shoes for a kid who needs a free pair of shoes somewhere in the developing countries. And that has helped propel this company into a billion-dollar business. Like, they generate hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue every year. And they also have provided now millions of pairs of shoes to kids who need them in various developing countries around the world. Plus done a ton of different philanthropic initiatives. And it's just an example of the fact that you can actually make money while doing good. Right? So, I'm not to say that it always has to be that way. I have been on the board of nonprofits, I've helped start nonprofits, and yes, you can have a lot of impact in the nonprofit area, and some initiatives have to be in the form of a charity organization or a nonprofit, but oftentimes you can have a lot more freedom to operate the way you want to do it if you have a sustainable business model to power your initiative. So on this spectrum of the types of businesses you can build a for-profit that's really just designed for maximizing shareholder value and making money and putting it in your pocket. Or on the other side of the spectrum, you have charity organizations, right? Red Cross, UNHCR, that powers like refugee camps and helps provide aid. And those types of organizations are very hard to make money, like serving the poorest people on the planet. You probably can't generate a whole ton of revenue. They have to be in the form of a charity. But for many other types of organizations, they can be somewhere in the middle of the spectrum, where you have your own sustainable revenue model, you found a way to generate money selling a product to one type of customers, but that empowers you to now fund other initiatives or to help other types of customers, but with your own funds. And the good thing about that is that you're not spending 70% of your time begging for money from donors. So it's just something to think about, and I don't want to tell you what is the right way for you, but at least over my career, like I've ended up figuring out that this like for-profit social venture model can also be a lot of fun. And it just gives you a lot more flexibility. So there's something to be said about that. And then the other thing to be said about this is like the reason why we talk about startups and we now talk about lean startup method is that it really does apply, whether you're a for-profit or non-profit or social initiative or more like focused on revenue. The fundamentals are the same. You need to test your idea with customers, figure out if the user likes it. There's infinite amount of social initiatives that go wrong because they didn't really test it with the people they were trying to help, right? You probably heard about a lot of these types of initiatives. So it really does apply. Okay, and if anyone wants to talk more about this, I'm happy to engage in conversation. We can talk about whether it's relevant or not. And also, this presentation is very much optional. Okay, so yesterday we talked about interviewing, and you learned about a problem interview where you don't even talk about your solution. And I highly recommend the first part of your interview is a problem interview, where you ask them questions like Justin introduced us to yesterday. Tell me about the last time you experienced this problem. Get them to tell your story and then dig in with additional questions, understand the context, and all that good stuff. At the end of the interview, you can switch to what we call a solution interview, where you present the idea that you have. You're still not trying to pitch and sell, but you can talk about, so this is what we have in mind, and we would love to learn from you. What's really important when you are interviewing somebody is that you don't come across as a salesperson. What happens when you get a phone call from a salesperson? Like, hey, I'm calling you from XYZ Insurance, we would like to talk to you. What do? You hang up right away, right? It's like, no. Or people outside the shopping malls like, no, I'm so busy, I don't want to talk to you. But if you ask for help, it's like amazing that just switches. People want to help you. I have examples of friends who go to the airport, for example, where people are usually waiting, they have time. Either you can wait at the baggage carousel, where people have like 15 minutes. So for example, Justin, he does this sometimes. Then he will bring an empty suitcase with him to the airport, so he doesn't look too strange. And then he will go to like the baggage area where people are picking up the luggage. It's like, oh hey, because somebody who's in his the customer segment he's trying to interview, could I ask you a quick question now when we're just standing here waiting for our luggage? And that's a great time when people have these like 15 minutes to talk. But also, friends of mine have gone inside the airport and have engaged in conversations that where people are so passionate that they miss their flights on purpose, just to share information. Because they were really passionate about this problem that the entrepreneur wanted to solve, and they wanted to help provide him with enough information that they can build a product for them, right? So if you come across as somebody who's genuine, it's like, we're really passionate about this problem, we want to solve it, can you help me learn? Help me learn more about this problem and the context, so I can build a product that really works. But at the end of it, do a solution interview where you talk about the features, maybe you show your prototype, you get some feedback on that. Who should you talk to? There's this innovation adoption curve, some of you might have seen, where we talk about different types of customers that you can target at different cycles in your startup. In the beginning, don't try to sell to people who are skeptical. It's a waste of your time. We talked about the characteristics of an early adopter, who are people who have a problem, they know they have a problem, and they're actively trying to look for a solution. Those we call innovators and early adopters. Those are the people who sleep outside the Apple store just to get the new version, right? And they're like desperate for a solution. Like they've Googled themselves, maybe they try to hack together something similar. They will light up when you share with them that you're trying to solve this problem. They'll be like, oh my God, I've been looking for that my whole life. Like, please, can I try it? And they become your best friends, right? Because they're willing to try out a crappy first version of your product, right? You can launch a beta version of your product to those people because they don't care. A version that has crappy features and it keeps like collapsing and failing will still be better than nothing. And they're willing to endure that. So you treat them like family because they're going to help you build the product that will ultimately work. Later, when you've actually fine-tuned the product and it's working, you can start targeting the early majority right? And this is where crossing the chasm comes into mind, because of course there's a lot more money here, but it's harder to get those people on board. And then later on, you know, maybe you have a very tech-savvy grandma, but later on you can start targeting like grandparents who are like later to adopt the latest technology, or depending on your type of audience. We call those the late majority, and the laggards are really hard to target. They will only buy this type of product once there's no other option, right? Okay, so talked about this, do your interviews. The next version of MVP testing is what I call pre-selling. Sell it before you build it. And how do we do that? A couple different options. Yesterday I mentioned that, for example, Dropbox and Houston put together a quick little MVP, minimum viable product video, demonstrating the functionality of Dropbox. He put it out, publicized it on some of these hacker forums, and he had 70,000 people sign up overnight. They didn't pay anything, but it was more than just saying, oh yeah, that sounds cool, right? They signed up with their email and their phone number, and they're like, please tell me as soon as this is ready, because I want to be onboarded. And then you could go to an angel investor and say like, I think this would be a cool idea. So I put this little video together, and now I have 75,000 people signed up to be the beta users. Do you want to give me $1 million and I can build it? And they're like, that sounds interesting, right? Because you got some what we call social proof. In the pitch, you're always trying to build credibility. Like investors don't want to invest in some loony with a crazy idea. They invest in people who've done their homework and where there's actually real proof. So investors care about two things: low risk, high return. High return both in terms of money, but also if an impact investor, high return in terms of impact, right? But you want to do everything you can to de-risk the opportunity. And how do we de-risk it? We look through our business model and we see that all these guesses, all these hypotheses have to be tested. The more of those that you can validate and test, the more convincing you're going to be. And from an investor's perspective, the less risky it's going to seem. Does that make sense? So low risk, high return. You've got to address both things. We'll talk more about that later. Another thing you can do, but you don't have time really to do this, but maybe in some small version you have time to do it, is some of these crowdfunding platforms. Right? So my friend Catherine Krug, for example, she has always struggled with back pain. Right? Maybe some of you can relate, like crunched over on a laptop until late at night. So she came up with this smart little fix. She's done a ton of prototyping, and she found out if you put a little patch on your lower back with these straps that go in front of your knees, you will automatically get into a better position, and then you can start training your posture. So 15 minutes of sitting with this better back system actually improves your posture and makes you feel really much better. So they launched a Kickstarter campaign, and they sold $1.2 million worth of these before they even built them, right? And then later on, they raised money from Shark Tank, and off the rails. They're doing well. And similar to Boosted Boards and Onewheel, Kyle and the team at Onewheel had this idea for a crazy electric skateboard. And the same with Boosted Boards, right? That was the first ones. And they figured they could probably build it, but they also figured it was probably going to cost $1,200 to $1,500 for an electric skateboard, which seems like a gadget. So is there an audience? We don't know. So before they really set these into production and took a huge risk, they put together a Kickstarter campaign, simple video demonstrating the team, how they're going to do it, the idea behind it, and they sold $500,000 worth of these skateboards before they built it. Right? So this whole idea, like, hey, how can we actually pre-sell some of these before we build the real thing? It takes a lot of risk out of it, so you don't end up wasting time and money building a product no one wants. Okay, the last thing I wanted to go over is this MVP technique called simulation. So how can you manually simulate the delivery of your service or product without building the whole back end of it? And one example could be Zappos. So Zappos is a online shoe company started by Tony Hsieh. And Tony and the team had this idea, like early 2000, that now we have the internet, people must be ready to buy shoes online. But what is the risky thing in buying shoes online? You never know if they fit, and the quality, and whether you like them, or or whatnot. So that's why people are hesitant to buying shoes online, because it's a pain in the ass to have to return these shoes. So they were like, well, what if we just include a return label in the box? And if you don't like them for whatever reason, they don't fit, you don't like the color or the quality, just put that label back in the box and we'll come and pick them up for free. So that was the idea. So what do you do then if you have that idea? Do you buy like a warehouse full of shoes and start a website? They didn't want to take that amount of risk, so they went down to the local mall and they asked the shoe store owners, like, hey, would it be okay if I take pictures of some of the shoes you have in your store? And they're like, why would I take pictures of the shoes? Well, because we want to try to see if we can sell them online. Like, well, I don't want you to steal my business. No, well, come down here and pay full price for the shoes if we sell any. It's like, all right, that sounds good. So they did that, and then they took pictures of the shoes, put them up on a crappy-looking website, spent a couple of $100 on Google AdWords. So if people search for shoes online, they will go to Zappos, and then they would just like call customer support, and it would be Tony, the CEO, picking up the phone. Like, customer support at Zappos, this is Tony. And it's like, great, I want those Nikes in a size 11.5 in black. So, great, yeah, what is your address? And then we'll type it up, or people would send them an email, and they'll have a simple form. And they would like literally take their bikes, go down to the local mall, buy those shoes in 11.5, put them in a box, send them off. And then if any of the customers were hesitant and wanted to return them, again, they would call customer support. So now you're talking to a paying customer, right? And you start figuring out real customer interactions. But have they taken any risk? Not really, right? They didn't buy a warehouse full of shoes. If nobody would buy anything, all it would have cost them was putting up the website. So it's just a way, of course you're not making money, making profits, and of course this is not a scalable idea, but sometimes you want to do things that don't scale to begin with. Just to test out, because you learn an infinite amount by manually providing this type of service, right? If you want to set up an AI system to talk to family members of cancer patients and coach them through all this stuff, do that manually first, right? Before you hire a call center and train staff and create some kind of AI that can do this, do it manually first. So not all proctors can do this, but many of them actually can. So you can manually provide this type of service. So simulation is a very powerful technique. So just like simulation and interviewing and pre-selling, there's a lot of other MVP techniques that entrepreneurs and innovators use. Yesterday I talked about the whole idea of an ads campaign, where you can just use that to test demand. So one of the things we can do today, if you want to, is that we can put together a simple landing page, a simple one-page website with a registration form, where we describe the product as if it already exists, and we can have a sign-up button, or you can at least have like a learn more button, something like that, where people then register. And then if you spend $50, $100 on Facebook ads, you will be able to generate traffic to that page, and it will be pretty powerful if we can stand in front of the jury tomorrow and say like, yeah, so we tested this, we posted it in a couple of relevant Facebook community forums, and we put together a small little ads campaign, and out of the 100 people who saw or 1,000 people who saw the ad, we actually had 50 people click on it, and out of those 50 people, we actually had 20 people sign up to hear more about our product. So based on that, we then called up 2 of those people, and we learned a lot about blah, 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 right? This is how fast you can do it. Other people put up like what is the equivalent in your country to like an online page where you can sell used bikes or scooters or whatever. Like in the US it's called Craigslist. Marketplace, like somewhere where you can just sell all your used crap, right? So if you have like and sometimes there's also services on those pages. So you can put up an ad on a page like that if you have a physical product at a really low price. And you're basically faking it because obviously you don't have anything to sell, but you'll be able to like get people on the phone. And if there's another tool called Amazon Mechanical Turk, where people use it for like micro jobbing. So for example, if you're training an AI tool and you need people to test like an image recognition algorithm and just train that, you can do that. But there's also people with all different types of backgrounds. There's millions of people looking for these micro jobs. So one of the tools that Justin and I have used is that you put up a micro task and you're looking for people for example, who have family members with cancer, right? Or looking for people who are really passionate about cleaning up the oceans, or whatever it might be. And then you say, I'll pay 50 cents if you'll give me a call so I can do a quick interview with you. And I kid you not, within 2 minutes your phone starts ringing. And you're actually talking to people in that customer segment. So there's many ways of hacking this, but the key is like, don't talk to your family members and friends, like try to talk to some real potential customers who are in that segment. And how do we find them? Like social media community groups is a great way, or social media ads, or Google ads, but also some of these other hacks that might be relevant to your particular business on these marketplace sites or on Mechanical Turk or things like that. So talk to me if you want to try to build some kind of MVP and you need some ideas on how to do that. A paper prototype can also work just fine. Really the main objective for, at least in terms of prototyping, is a visualization of the product. Some of the other things might be more sophisticated in terms of being able to test whether people want it. Okay, again, this might be repelling for some people, but the process of marketing and getting new adopters to use your product looks a little bit like this. You're starting out with strangers, people who've never heard of you or your brand. They don't know who you are and what you stand for. And then you need to have some kind of entry channels, ways of people to learn about what you do. And this could be a billboard up on the freeway. It could be a social media ad. It could be a Google ad. It could be in the newspaper, in a magazine, on a podcast. Many different ways of creating awareness. Then you share what you have to offer. And you typically offer some value up front.
And we are back again with another interview. I am now joined by Lucas. Hello,
Hi.
Lucas.
Nice to meet you. Hi.
You as well. And thank you very much for joining me today and coming to have a little chat. So you are working on the Climate Neutral and Smart Cities mission, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, and if you could maybe let us know a little bit about you, introduce yourself for everyone.
Yes, so I'm currently finishing my master's in spatial planning at the Radboud University in Nijmegen, and well, within this master's now I'm doing an internship for my thesis, and also kept on working after finishing my thesis there, which is at the the Institute for Housing and Urban Development Studies in Erasmus University Rotterdam. And yeah, there I'm involved in a EU Horizon 2020 funded SCORE project, which it means like SCORE stands for the smart control of the climate resilience in European coastal cities. So it's like 10 cities all over Europe participating, from Ireland to Spain to Turkey to Poland. And yeah, the goal is just kind of to prove, to make them flood proof, to kind of, protect the coastal areas from flooding, and doing that through by nature-based solutions and with smart technologies like digital twins and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So it's very European, very international.
Yeah.
How is it working with so many different international groups?
Oh, I mean, for sure it's complicated sometimes because first of all, for some of these teams there's a language barrier, obviously, because like, for example, in Slovenia, not all of the local citizens that get involved speak English. So if we are there to hold workshops, the local team needs to translate for them. And yeah, also it's like very different geographical context. Like, for example, in Poland, we're in the Baltic Sea. In Barcelona, we're in the Mediterranean, which are like, completely different contexts with different problems.
Yeah.
So it really needs to be adapted for each location specifically.
Yeah, so you can really see then the importance of talking to local people and making sure that what you're doing for them actually works for them. It's a two-way conversation.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely one of the main goals also, to involve the citizens in like this co-creation process of nature-based solutions.
Great. And then I suppose bringing then your experience from that into the current form of the Talenton, it's also working with lots of different people from different backgrounds. How are you finding it? How did you enjoy your first day?
Oh, the first day was very intense. Like, it started at 8 in the morning. We finished at like 10:30, 11 at night.
Yeah.
So it is really intense. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of interesting insights from Hendrik, for example, like really different perspective from like the startup world. And yeah, this kind of idea of the Talenton of connecting science to the like startup world is like something really interesting because it's also something very practical, I would say.
Yes.
Gain some practical knowledge that if you like sit in a lab like the usual scientists, you don't really get any of that.
Yeah, it's quite a unique space, I think, this whole project.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
Great, well, that's all my questions for you.
Perfect.
Thank you very much for joining me, having a little chat, and also good luck with the rest of the day. I hope it continues well and that it's not too stressful.
No.
Of course, maybe it will be, but you know, keep persevering.
Yeah.
And yeah, best of luck for the rest of the day.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be back very soon with some more interviews.
Multiple versions of the page, so what you can start doing what we call split testing or A/B testing, and that means that you have multiple versions of the same page, but you might be trying to test what is the best value proposition for the audience. So you spend $1,000 on Google Ads. Let's see here, where is right? Spend $1,000 on Google Ads. Then the system, Google will try different types of ads as well, but they will send the traffic to one specific URL, like one specific web address, but the landing page creator will automatically split the traffic into two streams. One will send the traffic to version A with the orange header, and one will send the traffic to version B with the green header. And then you'll figure out, not based on intuition or gut feeling, but based on data, what has the highest conversion rate. Right? Do people like a scary image of a dying cancer patient, or do they see a happy image of some cancer patient who has survived a little longer and is now happy with their family? What has the highest conversion rate? Might sound a little cynical, but in the world of marketing, and to make this the most affordable, right, you need to think about your unit economics and these metrics, like what is the most affordable way of getting new people to join your movement. Simple differences between sign up now and join today might seem like it's the same. I promise you the conversion rate is going to be a little different. And all those microeconomics, or unit economics, like they make a big difference. So that's why we're tracking all this stuff. So where can we use this? We can use it all across the entrepreneurial process. This is what we've been working on so far, empathizing with users, defining the problem, coming up with ideas. Now we're in the prototyping solution stage, and we're starting to go into the lean startup process here, right? Where we build, measure, learn until we have product market fit. Once we have product market fit, everything changes, because now it becomes about scaling up this initiative. And this is what we call growth hacking, another annoying startup term. But we're trying to hack growth because we want to be really efficient. Like a startup does not have $1 million for TV ads. So we got to be really efficient with our money. So we figure out what are the best channels to use. Right, out of all the different options we talked about here, should I use Google or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn or YouTube? I don't know. So we're going to test it. Which one is the best way to get a new lead in the most affordable way? So we target different customer segments. We do micro-targeting. And then we figure out, you're not going to do all this now, don't worry. But I'm just showing you so you know, like, okay, this is actually how this process marketing works in case you haven't really come across this before. So we test out different segments, we test out different channels, we test out different value propositions, and we figure out what resonates. And then we put the money where we have the lowest customer acquisition cost, so we can basically get the most people in for our marketing dollars. Okay, that was a lot. Any questions about any of this? Is this useful? Yeah. Yes? Okay.
I have kind of an ethical one.
You have an ethical one?
Ethical one.
Yes.
It feels a lot like, well,
yeah.
It feels a lot like manipulation.
In what way? In what way?
Like that you're kind of going on the edge of that weak point for the people to get
a weak point?
Yeah, because they and then you use it for your own purposes.
Well, let me ask you this. What are you building right now? Are you in the cancer? No.
We're in water.
Sorry, you're in water.
Yeah.
Right. So do you believe that your solution will improve the world?
Like, I don't think it's gonna change much, but it's gonna make it.
You might want to reframe that tomorrow.
Yeah. We're gonna see how it goes today.
Of course.
But I think, well, you can change the world with like big shakes. You need to go like slowly, and that's like could be one step towards that, but it's not one of those big shots that you wall.
Sure.
That's gonna hit it.
But if you're ethical in your business, right, and you are building a product that you believe people will benefit from, right, and that's what we're all here for, right? We're here to improve people's lives, and we're here to improve the planet's in various ways, right? And make sure we adapt to climate change and restore our oceans and waters and help these people suffering from cancer and their families. So if you generally believe that you can help people in their lives and their loved ones with your product, wouldn't it be the most ethical thing you can do to get the most people possible to hear about your product? Like, the more people you reach, the more people you help. So I could argue that you have an obligation to be as efficient as possible with your marketing dollars, so that the most people possible hear about your amazing new solution, so that you can impact the most people, like the most lives possible. But the problem is, we don't know what the best value proposition is, for example, for these families affected with cancer, right? We don't know what is going to resonate. So when we talk about the value proposition, it might be something different than what you expect. And if you change the value proposition, you'll be able to reach twice as many people with the same amount of dollars. And then you could help twice as many families. Right? You see where I'm going. So yes, you are optimizing, and is it manipulation or is it just being smart? I don't know. Right? It's manipulation in the sense that you are figuring out what tends to resonate best with people, and then you focus on that. And you're using a quantified method to do that in a very systematic way. And I completely agree that the problem with this method is that it really works. And it also, and they found out about this during the 2020 political presidential election campaign in the US, right? And then they spent a shit ton of money on this, and they really tested it, and they went to the complete dark side of human manipulation and figuring out what kind of dark messages will resonate with people. Oh, it turns out people are more likely to click on things that makes them angry and aggressive, and if they can hear the worst side of themselves resonated by other people, you will funnel into this echo chamber on Facebook groups, and then they just went double down on that. So it works for bad products, but it also works for good products. And the problem is there are not enough good companies out there that are good enough at using this kind of stuff. Right? Because there are ethical researchers that are doubting themselves, oh, well, could I really do that? And then not enough people hear about all your amazing inventions. So, yeah, I don't know. If you're using it for a good purpose, I feel like it's just being smart about how you spend your marketing dollars. But it's certainly a balance, and you don't want to manipulate people. But yeah, happy to talk more about that. Okay, so yeah, call to action, we talked about this. So one thing is a landing page, and I can help you build a landing page if you're interested. I have a tool called Unbounce. I have a pro account, so I can give you a free account if you want to set this up. There's no coding involved, and you can literally set up a page in 45 minutes. It's all drag and drop for landing pages. Okay, Unbounce. Let me know if you want a license. You just text me. I will send you an invite to Unbounce. You'll get an invite to set up a free page. We can run a little mini tutorial. You okay, buddy? We can run a little mini tutorial if some of you are interested in that. But it's all just drag and drop. And Unbounce is cool because it has this A/B testing built into it. So you don't need to code that. So when you send traffic to the page, you will automatically send traffic to a version A and a version B, and then you can see which one converts the better. The other thing we can do, if you're interested, how many of you are working on some version of an app? Okay, a couple of teams. So there are several different good app building tools out there. One that I've come to like is called Glide Apps, and it bypasses the App Store, so you can actually publish your app and have a downloadable, fully functioning app on your phone by this afternoon if you want to do it. It takes about an hour and a half probably to build what you want to build. So it's pretty fast, it looks great, and you'll be able to demonstrate an app on your phone to the jury tomorrow if you want to do that. It utilizes Google Sheets as the backend. You can integrate payment processing, you can build social networks, you can build a dating platform, you can build a page where you sell stuff on it. It has a lot of functionality, but it's very intuitive, very easy. So come to me if you want to learn more about Glide Apps, and I can hook you up on that too. Okay, then prototyping, yeah, various ways.